Hi, and thanks for joining the S.J. Childs Show. The S.J. Childs Show brings value to families through education and resources. But the S.J. Childs Show isn't just about me. It's about us as a community. Join me as we help educate and support our community, help bring kindness and love and inclusion to all. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen and watch. I really appreciate all the support from all of the viewers and listeners, and I just want to let you know I want you to join me on this journey. Come and follow my social media, and let's do this together. Enjoy the show. Introducing Autism Vehicle Home Safety Kits, Emergency Responder, alert stickers, personal profiles with autism needs and a communication board, masks and earplugs, keeping families and emergency responders educated and safe. Get yours today at sjchilds.org. Helping autism families impact their child's developmental milestones through home relocation, community resources, and home designs. For every 3 homes Natalie Castro sells, she funds and designs a sensory room for a community center servicing individuals with autism. She volunteers to coach law enforcement, first responders, and ER nurses how to have a positive experience for individuals on the autism
Welcome to the S.J. Childs Show. I'm your host, S.J. Childs, and today I have Richard Burgin, who is it pronounced Burgin? I should have asked you.
You got the hard J.
Oh, man.
Everybody wants to pronounce it like a J, but it's a hard J.
Okay. Well, I'm so glad because I'm very phonetic and that can really mess with me sometimes. Even when I have practiced somebody's name, sometimes I'll still say it phonetically anyways. So it's so great to have you and getting to know you a little bit before we started the show. I'm really honored and thankful that you took the time out today to talk to us. Tell us beginning, introduce yourself and kind of where this journey began for you.
Well, my name is Richard Burgin. I am a filmmaker, and in autism terms, when I was 4 years old, I got diagnosed with high functioning Asperger's, and I always want to stress the high functioning part because I am pretty high up there. I'm definitely like a lot more capable of doing things than what somebody might picture when they think of autistic. They think of somebody who's like kind of like an invalid. They like their parents have to take care of them and they can't do anything on their own. But I have my own apartment. I'm doing pretty well for myself. I'm fiercely independent. If anybody tries to tell me what to do, then they're going to have a lot of arguments with me, most likely.
Does that make you a Leo as well?
Aries.
Okay. Well, hey, that makes sense too. That's funny. I think that there's really something to be said for the idea that society has of what autism looks like. And, they are trying to do a better representation, I think, in the media. And I love that I'm able to show firsthand up front, like, these are the people in the community with autism. These are the brilliant minds and overachievers and, dedicated folks that can give themselves not only to their work, but also advocate for the autism community. So thank you so much for doing that.
You're very welcome.
So when you were growing up and we kind of talked about this a little bit, you were diagnosed at 4, but you didn't find out until you were about 7. Tell us a little bit about that. And kind of like you said, when you kind of started to really maybe understand yourself a little bit more.
Well, I will say that for me, growing up, my early childhood was probably the easiest part of my childhood. I would say that I did not have really serious problems until like later into my teenage years. I would say that being a kid was relatively easy for me, maybe because all kids act like they are autistic to some degree. Like kids are
Human
very
behavior, right? I like that you said that too, because that's one thing that I really advocate for is that a lot of people want to look at behavior and call a lot of behaviors autism. And I say, no, that's human behavior. That's human behavior. The overactions of it, that may be autism, but the actual behavior in itself, everyone jumps up and down. Everyone flaps
like
their
every
arms.
kid either
Everyone,
has ADD
yeah,
or autistic,
yeah,
basically, according to the schools.
yeah, exactly. Well, and I think that instead of individualizing learning based on one's style of receiving, that is not something they can do in a general cookie cutter kind of way.
And no, I don't
It's too
really, I don't really
bad.
have much faith in schools to do
Yeah,
anything really.
exactly.
It's just something you're kind of forced to do, and then it's over.
Yeah. How were friendships and relationships kind of in those school age eras?
Well, it was also something that was easier for me when I was a kid, and I think part of that was that I had other problems in my family that got worse as I got older. And when I was a kid, there was less pressure on me to succeed at school. So ironically, I succeeded more at school because I didn't really have a lot of expectations like when I was 8 or 9 years old. So I had a few friends at that age. I would say that as a kid, I was like maybe like a little bit below average in popularity, but not like extremely ostracized or unpopular. I would say that I was like, like if you look at like the popularity totem pole, I was maybe like a few rungs down on the totem pole, but not all the way at the bottom. And then as I got a little bit older, I started to gradually get more isolated.
Hmm.
And I think that was, and there was a lot of different, reasons for that. Part of it was that I started to get more mental illnesses that were adversely affecting me. Like my depression got worse. I became obsessive compulsive. And then when I went to college, then I just plummeted. That was when things got really bad for me. I got severe depression. That was a very dark time in my life. But then since then, after kind of plummeting and doing really badly, I've gotten a much better focus, and I've been kind of rebuilding, picking up the pieces since then.
Yeah. Was there anything pivotal that helped get you through that like changed, or when you hit that rock bottom, did you seek therapy or anything? What helped you turn it around?
Well, I did go to therapy. That didn't help turn it around.
Mm.
What helped me more, if I could say if there's anything, it would be my desire to make movies. Probably had the most positive impact for me because I was too ambitious to give up completely.
Yeah.
It also, moving away from my dad was also a good thing too, because he was really going downhill. He had Parkinson's at that
Mm.
point. And I would say having to live with somebody who was, really sick, somebody who was dying, somebody who was losing their mind, that was very hard for me, especially when I was going through a lot of problems of my own.
Yeah. I'm so sorry to hear that.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's hard. I have a grandfather with Alzheimer's, and
Oh, I'm sorry.
it's a struggle to
You
see
know,
that loss of function.
yeah.
Certainly. So, yeah. After college, now you're doing filmmaking. Tell us about that and kind of how, you make or get accommodations for yourself now as an adult.
Well, I don't really have accommodations. I mean, I'm the director, I'm in charge.
So
So
your
I'm
own
kind of,
schedule.
yeah. So I have to be like responsible for everything.
Yeah.
Nobody's making accommodations for me.
Yeah. But you get to for yourself, which is something I think that is that entrepreneurial kind of spirit that drives in so many, I think, autistic adults.
Well, I will say that I think, and of course, in most respects, I would say that autism has a negative impact on most people's lives, but it does have a somewhat positive impact in some ways. And I think that, as a filmmaker, like a lot of what you want for that is to be somewhat autistic because you have to be very intensely focused.
Yeah.
And I do tend to look at things somewhat differently for most people. So I guess I would say that maybe it helps me be creative, although I don't really know how creative I would be if I wasn't autistic, but I'm going to say that it probably helps.
Heightens that. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I think you're probably right. Um, where do you have like goals or projects that you're working on that you can share with us, or are they
Oh,
all,
yeah.
ones? Tell us about some of the stuff you're working on. I love that.
Well, the movie I'm making right now is called Fang, and I have been working on Fang for a couple of years now. It's almost finished in post-production. I've been saying it's almost finished for over a year. So it always takes longer than you think it's going to.
And what type of movies are you producing?
Well, Fang is psychological horror, and what
Oh.
it's about is, and the main character is autistic. What the premise of the movie is that it follows the life of a young janitor named Billy. And Billy lives with his mother, Gina, and she is very ill. And they have kind of a dysfunctional relationship, which was also influenced by my own family.
Sounds so, yeah.
And one night, Billy wakes up, he has to use the bathroom at home, and he finds this rat in the bathtub. And so the rat jumps out, it chases him around the house, and it bites him. And then from that point forward, Billy starts to feel like he's turning into a rat. Like he sees rat
Oh.
fur on his arms and everything. And that's the most I can say
Yeah.
without giving too much
Please.
away.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting. I'll
Thank
look
you.
forward to that. That's great. And what kind of like situations do you have with your family now? Are you close to them now, or are you kind of just building your own community, especially in your filmmaking?
Well, I mean, I would say that, well, I mean, my dad died in 2020, so I don't have a relationship with him now. I would say my relationship with my mom is pretty good. I think we've been able, we were arguing more when I was younger. I think after I stopped, going to school, that solved a lot of the conflicts.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
we didn't have that to fight over. So I would say my relationship with my mom has gotten better, and I don't really have like a huge family, so I kind of do things on my own generally, but
Yeah.
I would say I'm getting along better with my family now than I was like 5 years ago.
Oh, that's fantastic. I think I, I'm kind of at an impasse. I don't know. Where the same thing. I am just a little bit like, well, I've created this amazing family, and they're, who I'm so close to and who I spend all my time with. And other than that, it's almost like it is isolating to have neurodiversity. At the same time, it's also wonderful to have this community to be a part of and to make friends all over, right? And it's so exciting because now I can make the SJ Child Show tour and come and visit all of the friends that I've made all over the United States and world.
So it's a big country. You gotta take a couple weeks off work.
Exactly. And just so great that, I have the opportunity to make these connections and to help really uncover and, expose in a good way the honest view and perception of autism for each individual that I am able to have on the show. Yeah. Is there like a website or a social media or anywhere that you would send people if they wanted to connect, or through me, whatever's best for you?
Well, I guess you can look me up on Facebook for now, and I would say like I'm gonna get my own website in the near future. That's something I've been planning on doing for a long time, but there are lots of other projects that keep coming up first. And you can look up Fang on Facebook. Fang has its own Facebook page too.
Wonderful. I'm glad to know that. So I will make sure that all of that information is there. Any other dreams, things that you have that you want to, other than your movies that you're working on, interests or anything you're doing?
Well, yeah, I mean, I want to have my own, family at some point, but I probably need to wait like a few more years at least before I get anybody pregnant.
And how about I'm that you brought that up. See, I've been on and off asking people like, well, what about dating? And then I had forgotten to ask you off camera, so I didn't want to be rude and ask about it. But how's dating for you? What does that look like?
Well, it doesn't look good most of the time, although I would guess that it's hard for most people. And then it's harder for me, but a lot of people have it worse than me too. So I guess it's kind of like the bad and the ugly. That's what dating is like for most people.
Oh gosh, yeah. I'm lucky. I haven't almost 2 decades. Haven't had to tread down that path. I know. I got really lucky. That's great. Well, and maybe are there any like community things that groups that you're a part of or anything in Chicago?
Not that I'm aware of. I guess I could look something like that up. I mean, I keep hoping, like that after I become like a better known director, then a lot more women are going to be like impressed by me, but it doesn't usually work like that.
Well, you seem so friendly and easy to get to know. So I wish you the best in all of your endeavors. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for your time today and sharing your story. I'd love to, keep in touch and follow up with you. Sure. And when the movie premieres, we can do a promo and talk about it again. And that'd be great. I'd love to support you.
You can definitely come to the premiere if you want, if you're in the area.
What if I had a reason to, right?
Yeah. Kind of a long drive, but you can make it.
Hey, like I said, any excuse for a good road trip. Exactly. Well, thank you so much, Richard. It was so nice to talk to you today.
You're very welcome. It was nice talking to you, too. I'm glad I got to do the show.
Yeah, me too. It was a pleasure. And we'll definitely be in touch.
That sounds good.
The SJ Child Show, produced by sjchildsllc. Thanks to all my viewers and listeners for your continued love and support. And thank you to the guests of the SJ Child Show. It's been an honor to have you on the show. Thank you to everyone who continues to support me. Go to my social media and let's build this community together through kindness, compassion,